Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Are you craving for that special meal that will entice your taste buds and leave you with lasting thrilling memories? Look no further. Spice Island Bulenga has got your answer. Natural, fresh and delicious juice, the best meals. Don't miss our daily specials from Monday to Sunday. Pizza Wednesday, Saturday Pizza Bonanza, you buy one and take two. Come dine with us and feel the experience. We are located at Prime Shopping Center in Bulenga, Mitiana Road. For inquiries, call us on 0704111720. Spice Island, we treat your cravings.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk. The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this edition of the Mighty Drive Show. My name is Edgar Mathew Karuhanga. I'm live from Digitalk Studios right here in Lukuli, Nanganda. For those who know, we are in Makinde Division. If you're coming from Makinde, that is at the Makinde Barracks, you'll have just turned after the water pump of Makinde Lukuli. You would see us, our digital offices, on the right side of that particular road. Then those who are coming in from Nyonyo, as soon as you pass the Ndusa petrol station, on the left side of your road, you'll be able to see Digitalk TV. Come visit us. In case you want to advertise with us, feel free to just come through here at Digitalk offices, or you can just call the programs director of this particular institution, Mr. Mukose Arnold Anthony, and he'll be able to guide you on all the procedures in case you need to advertise with us. His number is 0701 8000212, or in Luganda you can send noti msanvu noti emu munana noti biri emu biri. Mbaniriza nnyo mwenaje msinzidde okubanga mutulaba olunaku luno olwaleero, mwebalire ddala kibeera ky'amaanyi ate kya ssanyu okubanga mutwegaseeko buli lunaku okutandikira ku Monday paka ku lunaku olwokutaano okuva ku ssaawa 2 paka ssaawa 4 ez'akalasamayanzi. Ffe twasalawo okubanga tukeera nammwe okubabuulira biki biba bigenda maaso mu ggwanga, musobole okubanga mulina okumanya naye ate musobole n'okukola okusalawo nga kulungamiziddwa bulungi nnyo ddala. Olunaku olwaleero tugenda kwegattibwako munnamateeka ate nga advocate w'ekkooti enkulu omwami oyo ye Council Kato Tumusime. Tugenda kuba twogera ku nsonga nnyingi ezigenda mu maaso mu ggwanga. Council Kato Tumusime abadde mu misango egy'enjawulo naddala mu public discourse. Twamulabako mu musango gwa pressure 256, omwami oyo gwe baali bateekako emisango gy'okubanga yayogera ebyakalebule eri obwakabaka ne kabaka wa Buganda. Omwami oyo pressure 24/7 Council Kato yali amwoleza musango ogwo ne Council Kakulu muganda wa Council Kato Tumusime. So olunaku olwaleero oyo mwami gwe tugenda okubanga twogera naye, ate omwami oyo era y'omu ku bakulembera the legal affairs right here at the Alternative Uganda. So oyo mwami oyo akola ebyamateeka we tutuuka wano mu ggwanga, mu kitongole kino ekya the Alternative Uganda. So olunaku olwaleero tugenda mubuuza ku bibadde bigenda mu maaso mu ggwanga emabegakaawo twalabye nga abamu ku ba members ba Forum for Democratic Change nga bakwatibwa. Kino kitegeeza ki naddala mu ngeri abantu abasinga bye bagamba nti tizabadde ennunga mu bulungi. It was not really straightforward at the end of the day. Engeri gye bakwatibwamu okuva mu Kenya n'okubaleeta wano tetwategeera bulungi ensonga eyo yakwatibwa etya. So Council Kato ajja kwogera ku nsonga ezo era twogereko ne ku nsonga z'aba protesters abagenda okumaaso nga balaga obutali bumativu bwabwe eri embeera y'obuli bw'enguzi muri eggwanga lya Uganda. So tugenda kwogera ku nsonga ezo n'ensonga endala nnyingi nnyo. Tujja gendako wabweru w'eggwanga tuna tufunye kaaganya atwogere ku byabufuzi ebigenda maaso wali mu ggwanga erya Amerika. Tujja kuba tunyumyamuko namwe naye nga sinnabakwaniriza Council Kato Tumusime muzikirize mbabulire ku gamu ku mawulire agabadde gye mutabadde olunaku luno olwaleero. Ngenda tandika n'olunaku olw'eggulo. Abamu ku bakulembeze ba kibiina ekya Forum for Democratic Change FDC nga nonno nga bakulembeddwamu omubaka wa Kira Municipality omwami Ibrahim Semujunganda batandise olunaku lw'eggulo okubanga batambula nga bano bagamba bagenda kubanga balaga obutali mativu bwabwe naddala nga batwala petition yabwe wali ku Kenyan Embassy. Bano nno ensonga eyabadde batambuze jjo obanga balaga obutali mativu bwabwe y'ensonga y'abamu ku ba members oba abamu ku bannakibiina ba FDC abakwatibwa mu ggwanga erya Kenya. Bano nno baali bagenze mu kyewaliise leadership training oba training y'okuba mu by'obukulembeze baali wali mu kibuga ekya Kisumu. Era bagenda ne bakwatibwa ebigambibwa nti bakwatibwa bannamagye ab'eggwanga lino erya Uganda ate nga bali deployed sides eri. So bagenda mu ggwanga erya Kisumu mu ggwanga erya Kenya mu kibuga ekya Kisumu ne bakwata bano abantu 36 ne babakomyawo mu ggwanga lya Uganda. Era babateekako omusango gwa kulya mu nsi y'olukwe mu luzungu kyewaliise treason. Gino nno emisango nno gibeera minene nnyo kuba guno gwe musango ogumu ku misango egibisinga obunene mu ggwanga lino erya Uganda. Bano nno baggulwako emisango egyo gya treason nga bagamba badde beetaba mu terrorist activities oba emirimu oba enkola oba ebintu by'abannalukalala bye baali beetabamu mu mbeera eyo yennyini. So police bano yamala dde okubanga ebateeka mu kooti era babateeka mu kooti sabbiti ewedde ne babacharginga n'emisango gye nkugambye gino. Bano nno abamu ku ba leaders omuli Semujunganda omulimu deputy lord mayor mukyalo oyo then mulimu n'abakulembeze abalala ab'enjawulo bavuddeyo ne bagamba bagenda kubanga batambula okubanga bagenda ku embassy ya Kenya. Ekisooka nga beebuuza abantu baayo bakwatibwa batya mu mbeera eno naddala nga baasala boda mu mbeera y'amateeka bagenda batya okutuuka ne bakwatibwa ate ne bakwatibwa amagye ge bagamba aga Uganda mu ggwanga erya Kenya. Kino nno ligale akiyimirira kitya era banaakola batya. So Nyanjula Doreen yamaddiza dde okubanga akwatibwa deputy lord mayor ne Semujunganda olunaku lw'eggulo yakwatiddwa ne Harold Kaija secretary general wa FDC ku side ya Katonga naye yakwatiddwa mu mbeera eyo. So tetro yabadde abantu ndooza 16 be bakwatiddwa era bajja kubanga babitebya mu mbeera eyo yennyine. Tuveeko kaawo tugendeko wali mu kibiina kya National Unity Platform akulembera ebyokwerinda oba kyewaliise security mu kibiina ekya National Unity Platform omwami Cleo Kivumbi yakwatibwa ndooza sabiti ewedde olwalinaku lwakutaano. Cleo Kivumbi ono yakwatibwa n'emmotoka eyamukwata yali ya Nuwa era ng'erimu abakwata mundu nga bakutte emigemerawala egy'enjawulo. Yakwatibwa ng'agenda wali maka ge Nansana. Ono nno yabuzibwawo okumala ennaku ndooza zaali 3. Olunaku lw'eggulo basobodde naye okubanga bamwalaininga mu kooti wali ne bamugulako era emisango gy'okubanga possessinga kyewaliise military fatigue obanga ayina ebimu ku byambalo n'ebikozesebwa eby'abantu abali mu byokwerinda oba bannamagye ate nga ono baati bamukkiriza kubeera na bino ebintu. Ono nno Cleo Kivumbi bamukwata era abantu abaaliwo ku scene bakakasa nti yakwatibwa mu mbeera etaali nnungi nnyo. Bamukuba era yatuuka n'okubanga yaleka sapuliye okyewaliise Rosary wennyini we baamusuula oba we baamukwatira mu mbeera ya Cleo Kivumbi. Bamaze dde okubanga bamugulako emisango nga nkugambye emisango gy'okubanga ayina military fatigue oba ayina ebintu ebyali badde bibelonging obanga byaba bannamaje oba bakwata mundu ate nga yesi munnamaje onono yakyajingiddwa wali mu court martial mu general court martial mu kooti ya nnamaje era bamaze dde okubanga bamurimandinga paka eruzira agenda kumalayo ndooza omwezi guno gwonna agenda kubanga akomawo mu kooti y'amagye ennaku z'omwezi genda kubeera 2 omwezi ogwa September oba omwezi ogwo ogujja omwaka 2024 so Cleo Kivumbi ono abadde ku kibiina kya National Unity Platform eno okumala akabanga kangi era mirundi mingi mumulabye ne principal w'ekibiina ekyo Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu ate kati nno baavuddeyo nabo ne balaga obutali bumativu bwabwe ku ngeri poliisi gye badde bakwatamu naddala abantu baayo. Cleo Kivumbi ono bagamba yakwatibwa bubi nnyo n'engeri gye baamukubamu yali sinnuŋŋamu bulungi ate bamaze okubanga naye bamugatta ku bantu ab'enjawulo abadde bakwatiddwa ekibiina kino abali mu kibiina kino ekya National Platform bano no batandika okubakwata ndooza mu mwaka gwa 2021 era yetwogereranga abantu bangi abakyali emabega w'emitayimbwa egyo nga bano nno bonna bali ku misango egy'enjawulo naye ng'ate bonna balina ekiri common kyakuba nti bonna babelonging eri ekibiina kya National Unity Platform. National Unity Platform eno emabega kill era yavaayo n'eraga obutali bumativu bwabwe ku ngeri gye bakwatibwamu nga babateekako emisango gino egy'okugamba nti nno balina ebintu ebyabannamagye. Kisooka bagamba tewali kikakasa nti ebintu bye balina byabannamagye kyekisookera ddala ate n'ekyokubiri engeri gye bakwatamu abantu naddala mu tteeka lino ery'okwambala ebintu by'abannamagye ne abakwatamundu ab'enjawulo eri subjective in nature nti akatiba akali badde kasalawaani akwatibwa kakwatamu luusi kakwatamu empuuta ne kaleka engege mu mbeera eyo. Lwaki bagamba nti wali abantu naddala abayimbi nga Alien Skin abambala military fatigue naye bano tebabakwatangako ate ne bagamba nti baka beret gye bambala eya red teyina weekakasibwa nti nno ya UPDF. Ekisooka logo eriko emabega kukwabeeranko logo ya People Power I think PPU kati bajja bagikyusa bateekako logo ya umbrella ekitakakasiza ddala nti banono bali mu kwambala bintu by'abannamagye. So bagamba nti kanono kafuuse kakodyo ka government n'abakwata mundu ab'enjawulo okubanga bakwata abantu ba NUP nga beekweka mu kugamba nti nno bano bambala ebyambalo ebyabannamagye ne bamaliriza nga bakoze ebintu ebitali birungi. Ndooza tuveeko kaawo olunaku lw'eggulo wabadde abantu badde babinuka masejjere n'essanyu eringi oluvannyuma lw'omutanda empologoma ya Buganda Kabaka Ronald Muwenda Mutebi okulabikako wali mu ssaza lye oba mu bitundu bye ebyekyotera mu Buganda wano abantu ab'enjawulo baasanyuse okubanga balaba ku mutanda okumala akadde nno abadde takyalabika naddala mu ggwanga erya Uganda ndoza mujjukirako imabegako baamutwala mu ggwanga erya Bugirimani gye waliise Germany nga bamutwala okubanga abamujjanjaba ebirwadde ebibadde bimutawaanya mpola mpola naye twogera Kabaka yassuuka ne basobola okubanga bamuforwardingako wali Namibia oluvannyuma yakomyewo wano ku butaka e Buganda. So yabadde mu district y'Ekyotera era abantu ab'enjawulo baasanyuse nnyo ddala okubanga balaba omutanda nga ali mu kubanga afuga of course eggwanga lye mu mbeera eyo. So naffe kennyini twagala okubanga twegatta kwaba abantu okubanga tuyozaayoza omutanda ate naffe ne tusanyukira wamu n'Obuganda bwonna ku lw'ensonga ya Kabaka Ronald Muwenda Mutebi okubanga yakomyewo mu ggwanga ate okubanga atambula okubanga alaba ensi engeri gy'etambulamu mu mbeera eyo. Nga tumaliriza amawulire g'olunaku luno olwaleero muzikirize njogereko ndooza ne ku mwami gwe bayita Alex Kajwarire. Alex Kajwarire ono abadde omu ku bakuumi mu makomera ga district ey'e Buhwejo eyo. Omwami ono olunaku lw'eggulo yagudde mu bantu ab'enjawulo ne bamukuba okutuusa okubanga bamulesezza ensi eno ewoomera ddala. Bambi bamukubye mu mbeera etabadde nnungi nnyo era abantu bana be baakakwatibwa mu mbeera eno. Bano bagamba nti bagenda kubanga bayambako poliisi mu kunoonyereza mu kufa kw'omwami oyo engeri gye yafuddemu etabadde mbeera ennungi ennyo. So abantu bweyo bakyali mu kubanga bali mu kubanga balaga ennaku yaabwe ku bice bigenda mu maaso mu district y'e Buheji. Jjukira ensangi zino obumenyi bw'amateeka bweyongeredde naddala wano mu ggwanga lya Uganda, era twebuuza tunaaba tubukolera ki. Poliisi yeegamba egenda kukola buli kimu kyesobola okubanga ekola okuzza emirembe mu ggwanga lino erya Uganda, naye katulinde tulabe engeri gye banaaba bahandolinzeemu situation zino. Bannange akadde katuweddeko, naye muzikirize mpumulemu wenkomawo ngenda kwegattibwako Council Tumusime ono nno munnamateeka ate advocate ne kkooti enkulu. Ajja kuba babuulira biki ebirala ebimufaako ate tutandike ensonga ezigenda mu maaso mu ggwanga. Okyali ku Digital TV, osobola okutugoberera at The Alternative Uganda, at Digital TV on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, oba gye walise X gye tuli at The Alternative Uganda. Nange kenyini osobola okuba ng'ongoberera ku Edgar M Karuhanga ku Facebook oba ne ku Twitter osobola oteekamu EDDMK1 oba osobola okuba ng'oteekamu just erinnya Edgar M Karuhanga. Ojja kuba ng'ondaba ngoberera ku mikutu egyo, tujja kuba nga tusigala tweyongerayo n'emboozi eno. Nze Edgar Mathew Karuhanga, let's go for a short commercial break. We'll be right back.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Are you craving for that special meal that will entice your taste buds and leave you with lasting thrilling memories? Look no further. Spice Island Bulenga has got your answer. Natural, fresh and delicious juice, the best meals. Don't miss our daily specials from Monday to Sunday. Pizza Wednesday, Saturday Pizza Bonanza, you buy one and take two. Come dine with us and feel the experience. We are located at Prime Shopping Center in Bulenga, Mitiana Road. For inquiries, call us on 0704111720. Spice Island, we treat your cravings.
At first, we hit your gadgets with our state-of-the-art digitalized mobile studio with the debate on the road behind the wheels. Later, we launched our magnificent studios located on Plot 1A, Sawagude Close, Lukulinanganda, Machindye, Kampala, where we bring to you our must-watch shows like The Mighty Drive, Monday to Friday, 8 a.m., Hotline, Mondays, 7 p.m. As for legal matters, Twins at Bar, Tuesdays, 11 a.m. Wednesdays, 6 p.m. is Afro-Caribbean Link, where we connect Africa with the Caribbean. Voltage on Thursdays, 7 p.m., featuring a youthful panel. Interface with Dr. Kiza Besije every Friday, 12 p.m. with his call to action against injustices. Snap Talk, Saturdays, 6 p.m. with the trio. A must-watch, The Political Dice, Sundays, 8 p.m. with the duo that never stammers, and so much more. Watch us live on all our social media platforms. We are The Alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.
Hi, welcome to the Political Dice.
Empishi ya byobufuzi.
It's controversial,
Purely political,
well researched,
accurate and global.
Oyagala bya parliament oba council.
Yes, State House oba ghetto.
Ani ayuga ku ground.
Ani gwe babuze.
Okimanyi nga Dr. Kiza Besije aleesa amaanyi.
Olwofadda bafutoli abateesemu obuvaazi.
Oba yo DP eri kuki?
Olwojema.
Bano ba MKCG bo baddawa.
Abo bafuna CDF baamala tebabanja. Olwo baba ate bange bali kuki?
Abo bo akina kulabisa simayanga posturing tebabiri bali mu structure building. Naye ate ono ye.
Ani oyo oba?
Yali kuki?
Oyo tumuleketa gamba apanyiga mawu.
Ebe na birindira nokuda Political Dice ku The Alternative Digitalk nange teditenje ewamune.
Farida Bikobere
Buli wa Sunday
esawa 2.
Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Welcome back from that short commercial break. Basebone banyabo. I think twafunye gold mu Olympics. Congratulations Cheptegei. 10,000 meters agizem omwami ono abadde akoze kyamaanyi nnyo mu byemizannyo. Alina history wano omu ku basinga okuba ne gold medals naddala mu nsonga y'emisinde. So Joshua Cheptegei twagala okuba nga tukwagaliza ebisinga. Okujjako nti wavudde mu race ya 5,000 meters. Simanyi lwaki naye at least amawulire gemmanyiiko Cheptegei tatera nnyo beera comfortable na race ya 5,000 meters atera kutegeera eri ya 10,000 era abadde musaale nnyo naddala mu wiini eyo agipreparingidde nnyo bulungi nnyo. Omwami oyo yava ku social media abadde training intensively. Twagala okuba nga tukwagaliza ebisinga Joshua Cheptegei. Nja kubuuza Council Kato kuki kyalowooza ku wiini eyo. Council Kato munnamateeka okuva mu kooti enkulu oba wa kooti enkulu, in fact advocate otwogerera. Omanyi waliwo enjawulo ya lawyer ne advocate. So this gentleman is a lawyer. He's an advocate with the High Court. He has been in various cases. We've seen him in the case of Pressure 24/7 yaliyo musango guli gwokuba nti yayogera ebya kalebule eri obwakabaka ne kabaka wa Buganda. Council Kato Tumusime yali in the helm of that particular case. Then era tumulabye nnyo misango egibadde gigenda mu maaso egy'aba protesters abadde bawakanya corruption mu ggwanga lino erya Uganda. So twamulabako mu misango egyo. Tumulabyeko mu misango gy'aba Francis Zaake aba NUP. Ndoza mujjukira emabega kaawo emisango gye bakwata mu Francis Zaake omuli okubanga yavuga nga talina driving license oba ne driving license yali expired. Kwegamba byebyo Council Kato abadde nnyo mu misango egyo egiri human rights centered. So olunaku olwaleero atuligaseko. Council Kato Tumusime, always a pleasure having you on the show, sir.
I'm always humbled to be hosted at the Mighty Drive.
You're a very
Thank you so much,
person.
Edgar. Thank you so much, Edgar, for always considering me to come and give out my views and ideas to the public.
How's Banturachi and Company Advocates?
We are actually doing very well.
That's good. That's good to hear. I wanted to just pick your mind before we enter the politics on the issue of Cheptegei. What do you learn? What do you make of the win of Cheptegei this time round in 10,000 meters Olympics?
It is always good for somebody to have an achievement that they make in life. And perhaps a win is a very great achievement to the country, Uganda. The problem is, this is not the first time Cheptegei is winning a gold medal for the country, Uganda. And I have seen so many people, including the big politicians, including His Excellency himself, come out and congratulate the same man.
Yes.
But the problem I have with them is that they don't even consider adding value to this kind of abilities and talents that people have. They only wait for them to have a success registered and then they can come and upload them on the social medias, but there's nothing being done to actually promote and improve their well-being as a people. Because you have so many people that are talented in that kind of field. Ate tumanyi nti emisinde kitone ekimu ekikyasinze okutumbula wano Uganda. Naye tukozeewo ki? Walabe ekisaawe kye baali bagenda bakolera for training where it is and how much money that was invested in that.
I think
that's all the corruption we are always talking about today.
Cheptegei to construct it.
Most of these people come up to celebrate the achievement, come up to celebrate somebody. But you ask, what have you added onto that person to get that achievement? Zero.
You may be speaking the
so
truth because
it
most
is
of
the
them
truth,
have,
not might.
All of them have brought out that particular issue. Ngabagamba You welcome us as champions, as heroes.
What have you contributed to my achievement? That's a question. It's zero. Repeatedly after, year after, we are seeing the same question.
It will always be private players who sponsor these guys.
But you see, when Cheptegei won, there is a comment that caught my eye.
Which one was that?
That I hope the speaker, the president, and the other politicians that are celebrating his achievement and success do not end up stealing his gold medal. Because now it's a habit that everything that they come across, it is being stolen and taken away for their personal enrichment.
No, he just wanted to attack people.
No, it is a comment also on X.
And that's what I'm saying.
Very
He's just
common.
attacking people because at the end of the day, really, nobody's going to steal.
But the whole point is that much as we need to celebrate these heroes for the achievement they have reached at and the promoting the counter itself, we should find it reasonable to add something, at least however small it is. Okay? Because these people end up facilitating themselves for their air tickets.
Yes.
Accommodation, meals and everything. So what does the country has to celebrate about such a person? If the whole government has not added anything to their line and how far they have reached, there is no need why you should even be celebrating them.
In fact,
just let them celebrate themselves, let them celebrate the families that have contributed and added something.
There is a lifetime money resource or income that is given to them. I think every month they are paid around 5 million for a gold medalist, I think 3 million for a silver medalist and something like that every month until they die. Can we say that one is something government has done?
Edgar, the whole point is that payment or that money is being paid to somebody that has already achieved and won a medal.
Yes, of course.
What about the young person there who cannot even afford?
Another Cheptegei.
Who cannot afford an opportunity to transport, facilitate him or herself to reach that level, so that they can be able to be beneficiaries of these incentives. You see, some of these incentives are only made to capture the attention of the public. Those are political statements. That's a fact. They are always political statements. They want to show that they actually value and respect these people. But what is the reality? That's the ideal, which is very good. But the reality is, they only want to come up and celebrate a person who is already made. He's already a hero. But what have you done? If you have identified an area, for example, where these old people come from, it is an area that is well known for being active in athletics. What have you done actually to pull out a young man, a young
Because there should be another Cheptegei there.
There are so many
there
of them.
There is another Cheptegei, there is another Kiprotich there.
We have so many of them, but there is nothing being done actually to uplift them so that they can also reach a level of earning a gold, silver or bronze, so that they can be able to be beneficiaries of these incentives that you give.
Kale. Thank you so much, Council Kato Tumusime. We're just opening up with the issue of Cheptegei, and we would love to congratulate him once again for winning.
Congratulations, and the rest that have managed to put
you see, the
Uganda's flag high.
The gentleman who started the Olympics always had a vision that taking part is already enough. But if you take part and then you even win,
then that's a plus.
It's a plus. Council, tugendeko ku nsonga y'aba FDC. Waliyo aba members ba FDC bakwatibwa ndoza sabiti ewedde bajjibwa ekisumu eyo nga bagamba bayina ebintu bye baali beetabamu ebyabannalukala kiwayise terrorist activities so ne babacharginga ne treason tutogera baba remanding adda mu komera bannaabwe bazze olunaku lweggulo kubanga balaga obutali mumativu bwabwe nabo ne bakwatibwa. But even before I even ask you about the real issue itself, how legal it is, because we're hearing cases of Ugandan operatives going to arrest them from Kisumu. What is the legal implication there? What do you really think about the entire situation of these cadres of FDC? What do you see that Ugandans may not be seeing?
Edgar, we should know that there must be processes of how one country goes to another to have its people brought back to be charged if they are taken to have committed an offense. That is what we call extradition.
Yes.
But before we can go to that point, the big question should be, if the Ugandan authorities allege that these FDC people were carrying out terrorism activities in Kenya, the first question should be, is Kenya a host country for terrorists? That's one. because these people left Uganda peacefully, marched through the border to Kenya. You understand? Legally. Nobody was stopped from entering because, they always do what we call profiling. Exactly. They always take your documents, they verify.
Yes.
If a country like Uganda goes to Kenya, gets people, bring them back, charge them in courts of law for terrorism activities. Now the first question
for treason, because of the terrorism activities.
Yeah, treason itself. Yes. Because of the terrorism-related activities. The first question should be, does Kenya host terrorists itself?
I don't think.
Is Kenya against Uganda's politics and the government?
No.
Because we are under the same umbrella, East African community.
Yes.
You understand? If the answer is no to that question, then we should ask ourselves, what is the interest of Uganda now going to Kenya and extraditing its people back to Uganda to be charged of treason?
What could be the interest?
Again, FDC has been at the helm of fighting the regime that everybody knows that is a dictatorship regime. It is a regime that doesn't believe in somebody opposing its activities. Even when your opposition is genuine and you are claiming and you are against a certain way the government takes its activities and rule. You understand? That's how you have seen so many people being taken to court, and most of especially the court martial.
I think the leader of FDC still has a record of being one of the most arrested politicians.
and I don't think that's about to end. It's not about to end because he still has so many cases against him in courts of law.
Exactly. Never has
and the unfortunate bit of that is that even having tried him for so many times, there is no case that has been ruled against him. He has not been put to his own defense. Leave alone conviction, no. Having brought all the witnesses that I have been able to bring, the court's decision have always been that the man has no case to answer. Exactly. So he's a free man to go.
He's a free man, that's true.
That's all ironical. So you look at this kind of arrests, detention and remand as an act used by the regime to oppress its opponents, I should call them. Because those are the words they normally use. These ones are against us. They don't want us to continue leading this country. We have brought it from very far. And to the extent that it is an act used to break the people that are fighting for a genuine cause.
But by the time government goes to pick up few individuals, in fact not a few, all these individuals, there should be an ounce of evidence that they have.
You see, Edgar, as a practitioner of law, the years I've been practicing in courts of law, it is that we have a broken investigative system in this country that I've never seen.
I have heard of rumors like that.
In fact, I am of the view that if we get people that can be able maybe to cause an amendment or to cause an enactment of law, call them the legislators, the MPs, we should cause a law that if an investigative officer, the IO, the state attorney sanctions a file that is incomplete, that lacks evidence to put the accused person to his defense, that person should be charged in his or her personal capacity because they are wasting people's time. We have people that have spent years and years in Rosira on triumph charges, just
and every
they
time
want to be thrown there.
You hear a person saying, no, we are going to produce evidence the next time.
You see, investigations are incomplete. Investigations are incomplete. 1 month, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years. We are
let people go.
Singing the same question.
There is no evidence to convict this person.
I have particularly participated in some of the cases that they call controversial cases. But because I have taken time to study the investigative system of this country, the CID itself, as a directorate, I think we need refresher courses for these people because they don't literally know what they are doing. They don't know. They have no idea of what they are doing and how it should be done and what must be done exactly. They have no idea.
Is it a question of efficiency and lack of skill, or is it because they are biased in some way?
It all starts with the payment they receive. That's the biggest challenge. Because we normally get people, most of these complainants are people that have some little money that influence the investigative system. They create a charge against you, Edgar. The next day we hear you are before the court. And the first thing, it's remand. You'll be remanded. Just because somebody came up with something little, I should call it a bribe. Then they bribe the IO.
That was facilitating.
Then the IO goes to the state attorney, resident state attorney, your file is sanctioned. You are given a bond, the next day you appear for bond. Because normally they call you to come and make a statement. They say ABCD has been talked about you, or we presume there is a case against you. Come to police to make a statement. The day you go, and then this is what I've always advised people, even the viewers themselves. If you are called to appear at any police station to make a statement, go with a person with an ID, because you are already a suspect at that point. So that after making a statement, because the next thing they will ask you, do you have a surety here? Who can stand for you?
If you don't have a surety,
if you don't have, then you will go in sales and wait for somebody to come and give you a surety and you're bonded.
Let me go with someone at least in the Council Kato.
Please, that's my advice to you.
But okay, Council, you mentioned something pertinent when it comes to that particular arrest. But what does this speak of Kenya as a government? In fact, before you go to Kenya as a government, soldiers, if it is true that soldiers or Ugandan soldiers went to Kisumu and picked these people from Kisumu.
Because you saw the bus carrying and ferrying people back to Uganda.
Yes.
It's a direct to court.
But if it's true, what does that mean of the deployment of our forces outside the borders of this country without anybody even finding out, without even Parliament, your representatives finding out? And I'm thinking the law gives Parliament a bit of power when you're going to deploy the Ugandan forces outside Uganda.
Yeah, there must be protocols for it.
Yes.
In the first place, there must be protocols for it. But Edgar, like I've said, these are all meant to dehumanize, mistreat the opposition people from the word go. Yesterday I happened to be at Uganda Road full day, having represented the demonstrators, the peaceful demonstrators, the people that are exercising their rights under the Constitution of Uganda 1995, as amended. The people that are doing their rights as citizens of this country, because Article 17 is clear on the duties of a citizen of Uganda. Among the duties of a citizen of Uganda is your involvement, Edgar, in the fight against corruption. In this country, where you feel that a certain officer has been involved in the misuse or mismanagement of the government resources, it's your duty as a citizen of this country to come and say, no, we are fighting this corruption. You understand?
Yes.
These people came up, informed the police, because the law says that we must notify the police. Why do we notify the police? For the police to provide us with security. When we are peacefully marching, demonstrating.
Not requesting for permission.
It's notification. Notify them so that you can be accorded reasonable security. The security should actually be escorting you, not to disperse you. These people started marching, exercising their right to demonstrate peacefully, the right to assemble, freedom of expression, and the freedom to have an opinion, as yourself. That one was violated. 2, these people were exercising their duties as citizens of the country to fight against the rampant corruption in that parliament. Who doesn't know that parliament is full of corrupt people, including the speaker as the #1 corrupt person that we have. I've always made fun of that parliament because of the recent, I think from around 20th of July, that parliament has been sealed off. Have you ever seen, I know you are a journalist and you have seen how crime scenes, crime scenes are bundled off. No entry.
This looks like a crime scene at Parliament.
It is a very big crime scene. Can you access it, Edgar?
No, it's very difficult these days.
and
Accessing Parliament is tedious a task.
And you saw how the police itself was treating the peaceful demonstrators at that point. Somebody wanting to break someone's hand because he's carrying a placard. What is the placard say? Stop corruption. These people forget that if we successfully fight and end corruption in this country, the policeman himself will be the first person to be happy. because the money that is supposed to go to their circles, that is ended up being taken by these corrupt officials, would benefit them. Their salaries would be enhanced. The infrastructure of this country would be at its best.
That's true.
Service delivery would be at its best. This is a policeman who lives home without even leaving a single meal for the family. I'm sorry to say this, but this is a reality.
That's a reality.
This man, the child, has been sent back to school because he has no school fees for that child. This is a man who has left a sick young child at his home because he cannot afford to take that person to a reasonable medical facility. Because the government hospitals don't have even a paracetamol, Panadol, for the God's sake.
You have to buy it.
This man now goes and finds you on the streets with all this propaganda that these demonstrators are facilitated, that they are foreign funded, that they are against this government, these are promoters of foreign interests. You can imagine the kind of frustration this man is going through. And they are meeting you because they normally say that these are people that are enjoying their luxury, and which is very bad. You get? But I have always said that Uganda is now safer with its laws, especially that relate to the violation of human rights.
We have the rule of law.
I've always
Look,
told
so
them,
we've always
I've
had the
always
laws.
told them that you as a police officer, a sergeant or a corporal or whatever rank you are at, before you can get involved in receiving orders to violate the human rights of a person, first look at your paycheck, because we shall single you out. We shall confiscate whatever you have worked for life, and we shall pay the person that you
So I had a
violated
friend
their
of
rights.
mine who is in those fears, still is. He mentioned something that you people, you say yes, that you point out one individual. But
Yes,
for me,
in your individual
he
capacity.
says, for you will charge me, and yes, it will look like I've been charged. But after a few months, I'll be deployed to somewhere, maybe in Lira or somewhere in Aleptong.
We have
and
Uganda.
they will not even know.
This is
So
one
they'll be
Uganda.
okay.
This is one Uganda. Edgar, even if you
And he's
go
trying to show you that he's
even
above
if
the
you
law.
go to Soro, we shall look for you.
So do we have rule
And
of
we
law
shall-
in this country?
It depends on the
Because
perception you are
the
taking.
law is
at.
subjective in nature.
It is very subjective, and that's the reality. Very subjective. But you see, Edgar, when we are fighting all this, in fact, the good example should be the peaceful demonstrations that happened in July 23rd. They have made us bring to light all the injustices that are happening. Starting with the parliament itself, it cannot accept to be put to books, to account. Two, we have the police itself and the other military agencies. They have also been left naked because of how they treat the demonstrators. Three, the judiciary itself has also been left naked.
But how? No, guys, so you say
Edgar.
How have they been
You
left
see,
naked?
Edgar, the constitution is very clear when creating the judiciary and the judicial officers. They derive their mandate from the people. The judiciary must be working for us, the people.
Yes.
In one, protecting. That's one. They must protect. Two, promote. Protect, promote, and ensure that these people's rights are respected. That's the role number one of the judiciary itself.
Yes.
People have come up to enjoy their right. This is a civic right to demonstrate peacefully. Instead of promoting and saying no, these people, the way you arrested them, they were enjoying their right. You have failed to promote their rights.
There are limitations to those rights.
There are limitations. There are limitations. I am coming to that, Edgar. I am coming to that because I will take you all through up to the limitations.
Please come to the limitations.
But you reach a court, you are a judicial officer. Because we normally say that they have the command and respect of the law itself. And number one, the ground norm is the constitution. But you are a magistrate. Then there is an offense of idle and disorderly that has been nullified back in the day. And you stand up and say that somebody is being charged of an offense of idle and disorderly. Haven't you been left naked as a judicial officer? The heads and the superiors or the supervisors of this kind of a magistrate,
And disorderly.
the supervisors and the elders, are also they are quiet. Nobody says no. Haven't we left you naked? If you look at the ingredients of an offense, because all of these demonstrators, including the people that were from FDC yesterday that were taking a petition to the Kenya High Commission, they were all charged of common nuisance. And I've told people that Uganda Road should be named the Court of Common Nuisance, because that's the best charge they have been taken to,
or maybe it's because
to be zeroing on.
Or it's just common nuisance.
And surprisingly, when you are in this court, and I feel sorry for my colleagues who are state attorneys in this case, because most of them are OBs and OGs and the rest. But you look at the pity they are submitting and saying that the actions done by these demonstrators violated the interest of the rest of the public. And these courts are always full. And we ask court, do we have anybody in this courtroom that feels that the actions of these people were against their wishes? And the court says no. So what else are you talking about? What is the public that you're bringing up to board? Do we have anybody in this country, Edgar, that his or her interests are not against the fight against corruption?
Everybody wants to fight
Yes,
corruption.
we believe that we must enjoy our rights, and the rights have limitations. Edgar. That's a fact, and that's true. Nobody says that we don't have limits. But the limits must be under the prescription of the law and where they must stop at. You don't wake up one day and say, if you believe that I am a common nuisance, that's of course that's your opinion, that you want to take as an officer preferring charge against me or as a state attorney. How long does it take to carry out investigation from somebody who walked from Parliament, from Nassau Road to Parliament? Do you need any other investigations? You have seen him. If you have all the knowledge to believe that this person has acted in a way that relates them to be a common nuisance, do you need any other investigations? Do you want to investigate my family, or do you want to know how I slept?
You have seen me from NASA up to Parliament.
And you reach court and the state attorney says investigations are still ongoing. Over what? What are you investigating? The unfortunate bit, like I started with, Edgar, is that most of these state attorneys, the IOs, the officers preferring these charges, the magistrates themselves, should be charged in their personal capacity. One, for not respecting the law, and also following, because as a state attorney, before sanctioning a file, the law is clear that you must have reasonable information, reasonable evidence attaching the accused person or the suspect at the time to committing that offense. If you find yourself missing even a single content that connects Edgar to the commission of the offense, why do you sanction such a file? We have been in court, you talked about the pressure case, pressure 24/7. This is somebody that they believe that he used his social media to abuse people.
To abuse the Kabaka.
But to me, I say maybe he was enjoying his right opinion. If that's his opinion, why? You have the videos. What is taking you years? Because now we are almost getting to 8 months. But they are still doing investigation, and my question to court has always been which investigations are they being made. You get?
Yes,
having somebody spend 2 months in Rosera, you're still making investigations even after getting their personal liberty of bail and they are out. You're still making investigations.
It has to be thorough.
Do you see a lot of conflict, especially while these people are in these courts of law and how they're exercising their judicial powers? We have all left it naked. Naked.
But what does that mean of the only place where Ugandans can go for refuge? Because that is the only place Ugandans have. So if you are saying it is that undermined, what does it speak for a Ugandan who is thinking that, hey, this is the only place I can get my justice from?
We still have sober judges and sober magistrates, but most of these magistrates are cadres of the regime. I've always told people that don't wonder and don't worry if you see a certain magistrate treating themselves in a certain manner. Because some of these people are magistrates because that was an incentive for their support to the regime. 1, 2, their fathers supported the regime. 3, maybe the regime wants to use them to enhance its interests.
Wow.
You look in court, and you see after presenting your sureties, the magistrate says the matter is turned over for a ruling, and you see most of these CID officers or DPCs or OC stations marching in the chambers of the magistrate to give an order and they say remand, and that's how it will be done. It's so
Council, do you want to give us
a
certain case like that?
It has reached to that level that a magistrate or a judicial officer receives a call.
By a CID.
He's receiving a call and an order to do certain activities.
Council, give us a case in
court working time. Court working time is from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. You have arrested people at 11 a.m. for being, of course, the charge against them is common nuisance. Why do you keep them at the police station and you have to parade them before court at 6:30 p.m.? Because it has happened not once, not twice, not thrice, including the 22nd case of the Zake and the other honorables, the Chirumiras. These people were arrested at around 10 a.m. in the morning. We were at police station, CPS, up to around 5:40 when they took the statement of Honorable Zake, waited, and Zake was in court. His charge was read at 6:25. And you know the reasoning of the magistrate? That we are out of time, we cannot entertain this bail application, your client is further remanded. And you ask yourself, if you have an opportunity and the audacity of taking plea of a person at 6:30, why don't you have the power to also entertain the bail application? Because you have already told us, you have already shown an image that we are operating in a manner that is not in an ordinary way, how courts should operate themselves. Then still operate under abnormalities, because this is an abnormality. If you have accepted that we can contact and have pre-taking in an abnormal circumstances, follow the same.
Because now we are in an abnormal circumstance.
Because we have been in courts and even at 4:30, 4:35, and the magistrate will say, but you cancel. We only have 10 minutes to close the business of the day, court business. We cannot entertain any other application for bail. They remand the person because of the about 15-20 minutes. But in this case, and in these cases, the magistrates have had the audacity to charge people even at 7. Even at 7.
Okay.
There was a LDC court. 7 p.m. and people are being charged. And
we are into the second hour of the show. I am still with Council Kato Tumusime. We're talking about what is happening in the country, especially the protests that happened earlier last month. That was on the 23rd. We had many people being remanded. Some have actually been released as we speak. Council, what other win did these protests register? Yes, you've said that people have, the judiciary is now naked. They have seen it. What other win do you think these young people who went to protest against corruption registered?
There are so many wins, especially when people come to show that discontention in what they believe that is wrong.
Yes, sir.
But it depends on where you stand. Because you have had ministers, you have had the president himself say, no, we have followed these rights and violations.
This subversive activity.
But if you look at the deployment that was made that whole week before the 23rd, I am sure you had an opportunity to go through town and
even up
see.
To date, by the way.
You get. You bring that kind of deployment, send warnings, including the president having an address to the nation, and specifically his point was to the demonstrators, don't, we shall crush you. You are dealing with the original NRA.
You're playing with fire.
And you have people, young people, very peaceful, come up, hit the streets. Over 130 people are arrested. Yes. Isn't that a success one? They're showing you that however much you have to threaten us as the president of this country, however much deployment you can make, we know what we are doing. One, we are exercising our rights. Two, we are doing our duty as citizens. Because President Museveni has claimed that he's a champion in the fight against corruption. We say, and he has always called up the public to join him in the fight against corruption.
Yeah.
I say, this is the right time actually to embrace us so that we can help you in the fight against corruption.
No, there is an agenda you people are pushing.
Edgar, wait.
There is an agenda you are pushing.
Wait. If
someone is financing
Edgar, if it is a genuine call to the public, come and help me in this fight, why don't you embrace us so that we can fight this corruption? Is he happy with how his government is being run by the corrupt and the thieves in this country?
He says he's not.
And if we come to join you and give you a hand, because you have failed for the entire about 37 years, you have failed to fight this corruption. It is either you are the #1 corrupt person in this country, or you are the enabler or the accomplice of the corrupt people. Because we are saying we have identified them. #1 is the speaker. What is our cause against the speaker? She must resign because of her involvement in corruption. Why don't you come and support us and say that's a genuine cause? You see, most of these people want to come up and make political statements. And that's a funny bit. And we have so many people that are being misled of such kind of statements. And they believe them to be genuine statements from the leaders that we have.
So
the #2
is
just politicking around. If he's interested in the fight against corruption, he had an opportunity, I think, in 2018 to organize the fellow corrupt people with their big bellies and whatever you should call it. A budget was spent that day. They marched from, I think, City Square.
The anti-corruption walk.
To Kororo, the anti-corruption walk. About a week after or two, we had a group of young people who said, but President Museveni, if you were genuine about this anti-corruption work, let us show you how the people that are not corrupt work and how their work against corruption should be handled. The next day, in about 30 minutes, they were in CPS for marching peacefully against corruption.
The same cause.
Are you being genuine to yourself? Are you being genuine to yourself?
What is Mr. Museveni doing?
Secondly, Edgar, the other win was that having had numbers and numbers storm Parliament in the fight against corruption, you remember the Honorable Sechikuba and his censure motion was missing a number of signatures. Yes. We now have the signature. It's because of the pressure that we put up, that the young people put up. You see, not all of us, and I should say this, that in the first, I think, about 3, 4, 5 groups were arrested on the 23rd. As a group of lawyers, we mobilized ourselves because we felt that's our contribution that we can put up in the fight against corruption.
And we saw you people.
And not all of us would go to streets, because if we would all go to streets, then we would have no representation in courts of law. We would all be suspects and remanded. Yes. And a certain group of borders were about to, they found us and they said, instead of these people joining the demonstrators, they're here busy in their nice suits. Not knowing that in the struggle or in the fight against corruption, we have different players. We have the street actors who will go on the streets, like you saw them. We have the people who will not join you on the streets, but they will buy you, for you maybe food, maybe water. Maybe if you are arrested and remanded, they will buy you sandals, they will buy you some things to use. We have the lawyers that will not join you in the streets, but will follow you in courts of law and ensure that your liberty is achieved, you are granted bail and the rest. Then we have the other people that will not even do that, but they will also encourage you. They have the word of encouragement. They say, yes, tubiraba byemukora, tubirabira ddala.
And that is also part of the struggle. Exactly.
Naffe tubali emabega tujja bagoberera olw'okuba nze ndi mukozi wa government isobola kuvaayo kubegattako. Kitegeera? Naye kyemukola kikiwagira. The spirit. The unfortunate bit is that we have another group of people that will not support, will not encourage, but they want to discourage you. Temuina, you get? That's the ironical behind all this.
Yes, I get you. But Council, I want to go back to Mr. Museveni and sit his mindset. What is he doing now? Because if you're saying he's not against corruption, he's just politicking, as you have tried to say. What is Mr. Museveni then doing now? What should Ugandans think of the leadership or the person of Mr. Museveni?
You see, acceptance is the #1 achievement that everybody of us should understand and take in. To accept that you have tried and you have failed. You get?
So Mr. Museveni has tried and failed?
He has failed. We are down the road, 37, coming to 40 years in power. The same question, the same thing. We are fighting corruption, we are stopping corruption. If you remember the President Museveni of around 87, 89, I have seen a number of videos of him holding a piece of chalk on a blackboard, having the permanent secretary, having the ministers and lecturing them how this government should be run under his regime as a revolutionary. Saying that this is not a change of power.
One of the videos that makes me mesmerized, for lack of a better word, is that video about the railways.
Exactly.
And he's saying, how can the British build a railway system connecting? And this was 1900s. And Mr. Museveni, it is now 2024. There is no railway.
I have liked you because you have seen the same videos that I've seen.
My
the President Museveni talking about the luxurious apartments, these people, because they are permanent secretaries, because they are ministers, because they are MPs, that they want to sleep in. He said, no, a medical doctor should be at work. Okay? They don't need these luxuries. He's the same man who imports furniture from China and everywhere. He's the same man who has a convoy of about 50 cars now, or utilizing the taxpayers' money.
And they're all
the budget, President Museveni back then maybe would be okay with him because he still had children staying with him under the same roof. He was providing for them.
Yes.
He would accept whatever budget he would have asked for at that time. Okay? President Museveni stays with the First Lady. Okay? They are only two. All the children are independent and they have their families. But if you look at how much they spend on that state house itself and his family on a daily basis, Edgar,
he's a president.
You would be sorry for this nation and for the taxpayer.
I've seen it. I've seen
You
the
would.
money spent.
President who had a piece of chalk lecturing people how luxury and extravagance is bad for the nation. He's the same person now who is doing the contrary. You know, we normally forget where we came from. And that's a very big challenge that everybody of us is facing and should be battling with. To have, to calm it down to an end.
Remember who you are. Wow. Council Kato Tumusime.
So, if it is all genuine that President Museveni is interested in still fighting the corruption, that he has failed to fight for the last years, 35 plus years, then he should now embrace us.
The speaker you are trying to...
He should embrace us. Let me first finish it. Yes. He should embrace us. Because I heard him say, you are joking with the original NRA, but we say...
Fire.
But our message has been clear. And we say that the time President Museveni and the team joined the bush, they were our age.
Exactly.
This is now our 1986, and we should... And our fight is not for the fight for guns. No. In fact, we are fighting corruption, not the government. We are fighting the corruption, not the government.
And many of you have said that this
is our 1986.
No, you say this government thrives on corruption. and many have said that if corruption were to leave, the government would leave too. So
if that's the case, then so it be. If this government is in power because of the corruption,
you people
that
are coming because of the corruption, but you're going to end up in State House. You want it correct, but you want to enter State House. But Council, the speaker you're trying to fight has come out to say she's not backing down. She's not backing down to any Ugandan. And the truth is this, she's coming to serve another 5 years. Another 5 years. And this is the person you're calling on to resign.
Edgar, I think I should make this statement. It's a personal statement, but allow me use the alternative digital media and TV to air out. This is my personal view.
Please do.
And I've already said it on my timelines and everywhere. People that normally forget where they come from, it is hard to determine their future. We have had people that have said all those words. We had the conqueror of the British Empire. He had about 20, how many names? And he wanted you to, the Field Marshal. He wanted you to address him by all those titles. Anita Among is not the first speaker in this parliament that we have had. No. If you look at what she has contributed herself and you wonder whether she's a speaker or she's just there for luxury. You understand? Secondly, if you remember the Anita Among of 2011 and the Anita Among of today, these are two different people.
But why do you always bring back those cards?
History will come to judge us everywhere. It will come to judge us. God sat down and said Anita Monk should be a black lady. Anita Monk said, God, you did not have...
Aren't you being personal?
I said, let me do it. This is my personal opinion. Anita Monk sat and said, God, you did not seek my consent. I need to be a brown person. There she is. What do you expect of whatever she's saying? Somebody can defy God. What about you, man? Edgar.
So you're attacking the person.
Edgar.
Everybody has their liberty. I have liberty to choose the color I want. I have liberty to do whatever I want.
So if you can defy God, my point is, if somebody can defy God, the creator of heaven and earth, what about you? What about you, Edgar, man? A fellow man? Of course, she has a right to brag and say she can rule this country whenever she wants. Okay, let's wait and see how it will end.
Because she's saying she's not backing down.
So many people have said it so many times.
And she looks like she has the support.
We had a very live example. I think Anita as a name has a problem generally in this country. You remember the Ivrin Anita?
Yeah,
what he said in Koboko? Is he still the lion of Koboko?
She said you cannot enter Koboko.
People forget and they easily forget. That's a big challenge we are facing as a country and as a nation.
I remember Anita saying
these people should be sitting down and being realistic to themselves and say, yes, these are my personal desires or wishes, but what is befalling me as a person? If you don't reflect to that, Edgar, you just waste your time.
The reality on ground.
Is she still the lion of Koboko?
She's not.
You wait for Anita Monk. You see.
So you think Anita is disposable?
You see, Edgar, I'm a good reader of the Bible. And when Sodom and Gomorrah was almost ending, the people were not listening to the words that the prophets and the God-sent people were telling to them. They continued to enjoy their daily lives.
In fact, God said if there was only one person who listened to you.
And bragging and said, this is life, we must enjoy this life.
Yes, sir.
So that's the lifestyle she's living as a speaker. She's saying, whatever come may, but I am still here. That's how end starts. That's how corrupts of man starts.
Wow.
Forgetting.
But even many people have commented on her opulence in terms of the time she has been in Parliament, especially as Deputy Speaker. She was a Deputy Speaker for a long time. I think she has been Speaker for longer than that.
For longer than
but the achievements she has made, look at the houses, look at the stadium, look at the money. I'm telling you, Speaker Anita Monk buries with 100 million. He was at the burial of, I think, Ramadan, the brother to Abdul Katum, to 100 million.
It is funny that...
$1 billion for centenary.
And it has always been said that in Zambia they were doing some construction and the president gave about 20 million. The speaker came with 100 million.
Exactly.
And everybody was shocked. That's her.
Money. She seems to be dishing out money.
And now your question should be, where does she get all this money? How much does an MP earn on a daily basis? She has been an MP, for about 3 terms, right? Deputy and speaker for now, it is the same term. Does she have that capacity to handle all these kind of dishes that she's making as an individual? You have seen her, of course, build so many schools, as fancy as they are, build houses, as many as she has. But really, realistically saying, if we are to do the personal lifestyle audit, does she fit the test of how much she earns and how much she spends? Some things should be realistic, Edgar.
My God. One would say, maybe the budget of this office of the speaker, because it's around, I think, 18 billion.
But it is the office, not a personal budget. It is an office, not a personal budget. And you see, the budget of an office should not be spent like how you pick in your pocket and dish out money. No. It must have value to attach to how much is spent. Because if you go to burials and you spend 100 million, how does the country benefit from that burial? Somebody has already died. And you know the reason they have died? You have poor infrastructures, you have bad road, and somebody was involved in an accident because of a hole, a pothole in the middle of the road. And you come to borrow with 100 million instead of fixing that road. Why don't we be realistic and use logic in this kind of thinking? You come with your 100 million because somebody has died because of a poor road that had a pothole that caused his accident. He was rushed to the nearest hospital. He couldn't get the immediate medical attention. He has died and you're borrowing with 100 million. That's being foolish. I should say it's being foolish. And you think the whole country will clap for you and say, wow, you are the speaker? Nonsense.
Council, how about Sechikubo? Sechikubo has garnered the signatories that you are saying.
Yes.
He has all the signatures. What do we see? Why is it that even Ugandans are not even endowed into Sechikubo? Many people believe this is a political move rather than a move to account for Ugandans. What do you think about Sechikubo?
As long as us as citizens believe that whatever cause you are in will yield an achievement, then we should be behind you.
Some are not behind her, behind him, saying the social motion should be political.
Obviously, you have seen so many people come to attach their friendship with the commissioners that they intend to
a case in point
impeach. They have attached their personal friendship. But you see, you should now look at the bigger picture of the parliamentary commission. Who heads the parliamentary commission? The speaker. But the censure motion is only limited to the 4 backbench commissioners.
How about the speaker, the leader of opposition?
That's a funny bit of it, Edgar.
The deputy speaker too is part of that.
But I say,
the office of the prime minister.
But I say, it's better to start small than to start big and fail everything. So if we start, maybe this is my understanding, that if we start with the backbench commissioners, then we can go now to the head of the parliamentary commission and have it all down. We need an overhaul in that house, sure.
But you think there is a genuine cause behind Sechikubo, or this is
yes, it's a genuine cause. This is a fight against corruption. In fact, Sechikubo is listening to the voices of the voters, the voices of the people that are against the corruption in the parliament itself.
Okay.
Including the exhibition that have brought so many people.
And it has been the exhibition
left naked.
The exhibition
left naked.
Actually really shown up.
Including people, including the people that we call fighters in the struggle, but how they have been brought to books. Really, it is a shock.
There is no evidence to
It is a shock.
The fighters are doing.
Have you seen them come to deny? The next day, I will give an example of my friend Senyonyi, the leader of opposition, about when he made a requisition to go and visit the Honorable Segirinya in Nairobi. Yes, for per diem for how many days? He was there for only 2.
He returned the money.
If it wasn't for the exhibition, would you have seen him return that money?
Because it was returned during that time.
I know, after being exhibited.
That's what I'm saying,
and
during the exhibition time.
Hey, yes. It means that that's an achievement. One, let us bring everybody that we believe that has been involved in corruption to books. Then it's your turn now to also say about it. It all started as a rumor. The backbencher commission has shared about 1.7 billion. And they started quiet, but it exaggerated. We saw people say, yeah, nzebitano na bifuna. Na yes, sobora kubiza nebo fa. Those are the words that were said by the people. But it was all ignited by exhibition and information brought to us. The Sturam Parliament have not had an opportunity.
But let's, as we come to the end of this discussion, should we be looking at Parliament alone? Because one is saying, everybody is pointing to an entity that, yes, there is a lot of money in Parliament, but it's not the money that you would call real money. If we are to glance in the cabinet, in the judiciary, what would we see council? Let's start with the cabinet.
Edgar, you see, there are so many reasons as why we should start with the Parliament itself. So many. Because Parliament has an oversight role over the rest of the entities, over the rest of the organs of the government. Because if we have a corrupt house that is responsible and mandated to do oversight over the rest, what do we expect? Isn't that the corruption that we are seeing, with MPs being given percentages of the national budget? You get?
Yes, sir.
So, if we don't solve the problem of corruption in parliament itself, then it means we shall not have a well-functioning parliament that will do an oversight on the judiciary, on the executive, and on the other government entities and corporations. So starting with the parliament as a body mandated to do an oversight, to do appropriation, because if they do appropriation in a right procedure and the right manner, it means they will follow up to do an oversight and do balance, checks and balances over the rest. If we gave you this budget, what was it used for? Because it was a genuine budget given for genuine reasons, so it means we must expect genuine results all at the same time.
Very true.
So if the budget allocation is also inflicted with corruption and sharing of percentages, do we expect an oversight that will be useful, or it will be for the sake?
We've checked parliament. If we are to go to cabinet, what would we find?
Let us start with parliament, because parliament will help us check executive. That's why our emphasis is on parliament. It is mandated to do an oversight, to do balance and checks and balances on all the rest of these organs. So if we don't bring to book and to write the parliament itself, it means all the oversight it will do will be useless, because it's already corrupt. And that's how we end up. That's how we shall see investigations are being done, questioning and inquiries, interrogations being done, but the reports are nowhere to be seen.
Yes, that's the truth.
That's how we shall see that even having allocated a certain budget, because a certain group and clique of MPs were beneficiaries of that budget, because remember, if you get, for example, like 10-20% from a budget of a corporation or an organ, it means you have left a deficit in that organ. Yes. That deficit will be covered while doing reports. You see, so if you believe that you took 20% or 40 or how much percent from that budget, will you question how much what has been brought in reporting?
You can't.
As how much money was spent in accountability?
Because you're conflicted.
So the whole biggest point is to have all our eyes on ground on this parliament that is mandated to do an oversight.
Okay.
If we have it sorted and cleaned, then we shall have oversight being done for value.
Okay. But we're coming to the end of this Chisanja. So as you're checking parliament, they are exiting. And people are preparing for 2026. Do you think Ugandans should be anticipating 2026 as we speak?
2026, to me, I'm not excited about it. One. You see, we had one of the rough and something that had not been seen in a while in the 2021 elections, including having virtual and scientific campaigns. That was something new.
Yes.
In my own view, that would be a highlight on making ourselves well prepared for the coming elections. What if we again face a situation that requires us to do scientific campaigns, scientific elections? Are we prepared? The problems we faced in 2021, have we had people create situations and solutions to have them not being repeated? Do we have measures in place to see that the atrocities that the security organs, the atrocities that the police itself, the forfeitures on the electoral commissions that happened in 2021, the arbitrary arrests, the inhuman mistreatment and degrading that happened in 2021, do we have or have we created situations that will create a different environment in 2026? The answer is no. And everybody is sleeping, they're only coming up to show roadmaps. We have mandates under the Constitution, specifically the Electoral Commission, to do civic education. Have you seen anywhere, even in Kampala here, where the Electoral Commission is doing civic education so that we can change the mindset of the people towards voting, so that we can educate them on how this process should be done? Because voting is not the day you come to elect to tick a ballot and just drop it in a box. No, it is a whole process.
Council, give us your parting shots because we've come to the end of the discussion.
My parting shots will be that I have had an opportunity to give my own opinions. They remain my opinions. Some are factual, some are personal opinions, and you should take them as they are if you are interested in taking them. Two, that in all we do, we have a goal to achieve. If we have a corrupt-free society, we shall have a society that is all good for us, including the service delivery itself. It doesn't make sense that small things happen, small things cause damage to us, and then they are celebrated at the end by the people that come out to dish out all sorts of assortments, all sorts of gifts and the rest, to impress the people that have already lost. It doesn't work that way. Let us all keep this fight, and I believe that as at a personal level, I'll be able and willing to offer my support, put in what I can, so that we can have a society that is good for us. Bless you all.
Thank you so much, Council Kato Tumusime. And of course, thank you to our viewers who have been watching from the time we started up to now. It's exactly 9:30 a.m. This is the Mighty Drive Show. My name is Edgar Mathew Karuhanga. I had Council Kato Tumusime as the guest for today. We shall see you tomorrow, Woman Crush Wednesday. Farid and Luwede will be here to take you through the morning. From the entire team, I had Fiona on camera, and of course, Mr. Alibawa is the gentleman who is in productions today. See you tomorrow, same time, same station. Good morning, Uganda.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.